to champion boxing in sports. In boxing, you find a way to win or you find a way to lose. Look, this saga with Daniel Joseph Kinahan is just it's just growing bigger and bigger. And the reason I'm doing a video on it is because it's very unfortunate. Because you see this guy Kinahan had, he founded MTK Global. And in 2017, supposedly he severed ties with MTK Global. But it's rumored that he was still affiliated with MTK Global. Now you say, well, why does that matter? Well, you know, MTK Global manage fighters. It's a promotional company that manage fighters. And a couple of names that you're going to be familiar with, like Tyson Fury and Billy Joe Saunders, at one point was under MTK Global. But what sucks about this is, this guy, Kinahan, his dad, his siblings, they're all supposed to have been part of some cartel that was just, you know, involved in all the wrong things. And probably the most despicable claim so far is just how they were bringing violence to the most vulnerable in society. But you know, sometimes things get worded away for shock value. But if they're going to put a $5 million reward for someone to identify his location, they have to have something on him. You know, this can't be just a he say, she say kind of thing. When they put $5 million, US dollars, for information leading to the financial disruption of the Kinahan criminal organization or the arrest and or conviction of this guy. So when they throw that kind of money out, that means they want somebody on his team to turn against him. And trust me, someone out there who probably, damn ears itching, who has their hands dirty from being involved with him, but maybe on a very, very small scale, someone's gonna look at that and say, you know what, I'm gonna get them to grant me immunity, and I'm gonna take that $5 million and put me in a protective custody program. And this guy Kinahan is going to jail. He's an Irishman. Initially, I thought he was from the UAE somewhere, but he's not. He's from Ireland. But it's just sad to know that MTK Global has had to announce that they're just ceasing operations. And they even put a post out there where, and let me see if I can pull that up for you so you can read it yourself. Here it goes. As a business, we have faced unprecedented levels of, they say, unfair scrutiny and criticism since the sanctioning by the U.S. government. When the U.S. government sanctions you, that means the feds are involved. It is a matter of public record that, you know, Kinahan's involvement in the MTK ceased in 2017. Despite repeated reassurances in this regard, unfounded allegations about his ongoing association with us and our fighters persist. Now what sucks about this is there are still fighters who are being managed by MTK Global, and now those fighters are just up in the air, and it just sucks for them. Could you imagine being a fighter under being managed by MTK Global with the fight coming up, and now all of that is just kind of up in the air because you no longer have your promotional company and people managing you, and you just got to scramble to find somebody who's willing to take you on? More than likely that fight is lost, and that payday that you were expecting to get is out of here. It's already tough enough with people dealing with the pandemic and all the other craziness going on in the world and layoffs and inflation. You can only imagine how this is affecting those fighters. Since leading promoters have now informed us that they will be severing all ties with MTK. That's hard, man. And will no longer work with our fighters. We have taken the difficult decision to cease operations at the end of the month. And because it's no money to be made, man. It's horrible. MTK prosper because we always put the long-term interest of our fighters at the heart of what we do. Our priority in the weeks ahead will be to ensure that our world-class boxers are supported to find new partnerships as swiftly as possible. Well, they're going to have to do that. And the fighters deserve for these guys to work feverishly and diligently to get that done. MTK gyms are operating independently, so will remain open for the foreseeable future. Further announcement will be made in due course. Thank you to all the fans who have supported us over the last decade. Now, that is just horrible, 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 man. Could you imagine, now this hasn't happened, but I'm just saying, could you imagine a guy like Crawford just left Top Rank, has a lawsuit with Top Rank, and now would have recently signed with MTK Global, and then all of a sudden this happened? How much that would suck. Now, the thing about that, right? Now, that's not what happened. I'm just throwing a what if. You got guys who have a lot of money, and something like this, it affects them, but it's not going to be devastating to them in a financial aspect. But what about those guys who just don't have that nest egg set aside, don't have that few $100,000 or $1 million set aside, and they have these lifestyles that they can't upkeep as a result of not being able to get fights, because promoters don't want to work with this management company. So I just think that is absolutely horrible. But something's going on, because I'm telling you, when they put a $5 million reward out there for you and talking about you guys involved in drug smuggling and all the bad things that come with being part of a mob, from murders, drug smuggling, intimidation, racketeering, I mean, anything negative, that's what they're saying this guy's been involved with, his dad and his sibling. So I guess we'll see where they go with this. But that's why a lot of these boxers and MMA guys and everyone else, no one's talking. People getting quiet because this is a problem. And you know, unfortunately, when it comes to the mob and people living that gangster lifestyle, not gangster like Bloods, Crips, the typical bullshit neighborhood stuff, like real deal guys out here, man, living that gangster lifestyle, or come kill your wife and kids type stuff, man. It is a problem, because when they don't want somebody to talk or find out someone's talking, people start dying. And I just want to wait and see what's going to start happening, because these people better get smart and learn to be quiet. Because I can see if this guy really is attached to some kind of mob cartel, guys like Tyson Fury, you know, need to be quiet. Guys like the guys in the MMA world or in any other sport who've had ties to this guy and have dirt on him and may know something about him that can get him convicted, they need to all just like that forget anything they know, because these guys don't want to go to jail. And if they're going to put a $5 million bounty on this guy, a $5 million reward to get someone to give some information on him or turn on him for a conviction, that means they were involved in something huge, and that means he or his associates probably have the money to get somebody killed. So I don't think he's going to go out without a fight, and anyone who's looking to turn on him and get him convicted, I just think that's just going to be problematic. They better make sure they get immunity, they get protective custody, their family gets protective custody, their extended family, because, you know, these guys aren't going to just sit back and rest and allow an athlete or anyone to come and turn against them and convict them, especially when, if there was crimes going on that people would know about, if these guys were putting money in their pocket, and then now they're going to turn on them because it's getting a little hot. So we'll see what happens, but I just think it sucks for the boxers that were being managed by MTK Global, because no promoter wants to work with them, and now they're just trying to work as swiftly as possible to find new partnerships for those boxers. So it sucks. But anyway, more to come on this. It's getting interesting. We know that there are a lot of boxers, a lot of MMA fighters, and some other athletes who somehow were associated with this guy. So we're going to see. I think people will start dropping like flies here. It's just a matter of time. But right now, MTK Global ceasing operations, and I think that's a smart thing for them to do. But anyway, that being said, thanks for your support. Like and subscribe to the video if you enjoyed it. Shout out to all the veterans, and I'm in the breeze.